Hello, my Gemini friends. This is Kristen Redmond, Astrological Intuitive, and today we're going to be going over what the planets have in store for you for the upcoming year of 2024. And what a year it's going to be. I mean, you have two pretty major things that are happening at once, and both of them are really giving you some major blessings for the hard work that you have been putting in for the past few decades, and good things are coming, good things are changing. Let's get into it. Let's get into it here. So let's start off with the hard work aspect, right? Saturn is the planet of work and earning things through difficulty, through trials, through tribulations. It's the planet that likes us to learn lessons, but it also brings us blessings too. That's the thing, right? Like you've heard the old adage before that it's like, how's that go? Well, like the best things are the ones that you have to work for, right? That's paraphrasing it, but you know what I'm saying. That is the motto of Saturn. The harder we work towards a goal, it's all about goals. It's all about structure. It's all about planning. That's what Saturn likes to see. And if you've been putting in that hard work, after a certain amount of time, you get a pretty amazing blessing that comes out of it. Now, Saturn is definitely doing that in a 29-year cycle for you when it comes to career, right? It's finally leaving that career house of yours. It's coming back around. It's ready to try something new, setting the footing for you moving forward for the next 30 years. We'll get into that guy in a little bit here. So you've got the planet of hard work, but it's also the planet of restriction. So you may have found that over the past 29 years, that it seems like you take one step forward, you take two steps back when it comes to career, right? Maybe you're not getting the advancement you need. Maybe like you keep hitting brick walls with these things. And that's because Saturn is making us learn a lot about ourselves through the lessons and the difficulties that we go through, right? But now that it's leaving there, this is letting in another amazing thing at the same time. Not only are you getting blessings from that, but you also have this lucky star on you this year with Jupiter, the planet of luck and opportunity, advancement, wisdom that's gained from all of these things. And it's a planet that moves us out of our comfort zones. That planet is going to be moving into your sign in the middle part of 2024. Now, this is a 12-year cycle. Now, where I was saying before with Saturn being a 29-year cycle, when I say that, it takes 29 of our years to equal 1 year of Saturn. We take 365 to go around the sun. Saturn takes 29 years. Now, this guy, Jupiter, the next one we're talking about, the lucky planet, that's a 12-year cycle. It takes 12 years for that guy to go around the sun, where we take 365. And where Saturn makes us work hard for our blessings, Jupiter just gives them to you. It's just the lucky breaks that we need in life. And that's by the advancement and the power of Jupiter. And when it makes a connection with our personal planets in our birth chart, or in your instance here, where it moves into your sign where it hasn't been for 12 years, you just get an infusion of luck. And I tell you what, there's been a lot of restriction on your sign, and you are ready for some lucky breaks moving forward. Amen. Amen. Right. And so you will find that in this coming year, that it takes on I guess, a restructuring and a reshaping of your entire being, right? Your outlook on life. It's taking a reshaping and a reconfiguration of what you will tolerate. It's looking at the other side of it with Saturn, because see, Saturn, let's do this. Saturn and Jupiter are kind of opposing forces, right? Saturn is the planet of restriction. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So you have these two major things happening this year where Jupiter, the planet of luck and opportunity, is looking at all of the benefits of Saturn. Saturn likes structure. Saturn likes a plan. Saturn loves boundaries. Saturn is the planet that sets boundaries with ourselves and with others. It sets the limitations. So you might find that Jupiter is saying, look, there's all these blessings that are stored up. There's all this advancement that's stored up for you, but you have to learn how to set limits on certain things. Maybe it's setting limits with family members, right? Maybe you're giving so much of your time and your energy and your Gemini way of talking and advice. Maybe you're giving so much of that that it's leaving you with very little at the end, right? It's about limits. Maybe it's putting in too much at the office. Maybe it's doing too much work in relationship is suffering. It's about limits, right? And so Jupiter has you looking to those and saying, how can I reshape, replan, restructure where I put my energy, right? And where it's going to make a huge impact, right, is on yourself. That's the thing, right? When you have Jupiter going through your sign, it's trying to expand you. It's not trying to expand your significant other or your family or your home. It's doing it specifically for you. It wants to bring these lucky blessings in for you. But there's a caveat to that, right? Jupiter is the planet of faith. It's the planet of trust and faith in the darkness that things will work out. Now, the more faith and the more trust that we have when things look dark and we don't see how it's going to work out, that's when the miracles can happen, right? So when I look to this, moving into your sign, I see this being an infusion of believing in yourself, trusting what your inner voice is saying. You are one of the smartest signs. I tell you what, Gemini, you are the one that's the constant perpetual learner and digging into things and figuring things out. And you know that this is something where it's a year of introspection into yourself and how your inner workings are. Listen, trust what those repetitive messages that you hear in your mind are telling you, because that's your higher self talking. Once we can trust ourselves, it's easier to trust the process. It's easier to trust the universe, right? The universe has always got our back. And I know that sounds crazy, but hey, we're humans and we're here having a human experience. So it can't always go great, right? There's always going to be lessons and ups and downs and difficulties, right? That's where Saturn comes in. But we do have a major amount of control in the landscape of our life and the trajectory of how it goes. We're not victims to these planets and where they are, right? We are the co-creators of our path. And the universe is behind us because it's ultimately for our soul's growth, moving forward, doing these things. That's why we're here in the first place, right? So it may seem like we're limited, right? It may seem like Saturn is ruling us, right, with its limitations and the straitjacket that it puts us in, but it's not. It isn't. It has our back. What limits us is our beliefs and how much we think we deserve. It's our mindset. It's ourselves. It's our fears, right? And we, a lot of times, especially if it's a message that you got in childhood that, oh, let me do this for you because you can't do it, child. You're just a little kid. You don't know any better. We get this subconscious message that we can't trust ourselves, that we really don't know what's best for us. We don't know which way to go. We don't know what to do. So we have to get validation from others. That's the tough thing, right? And then we get away from that process of trusting what our higher self and our heart is telling us to do. This is a year where I think you're going to get a lot of blessings from going off of trust and belief in what you want, what you are saying. Now, where this goes, right, is in that house of you. So that's huge. And it's going to impact all the other areas of your life, right? This is a year where lucky breaks will pop up out of nowhere. Maybe in your conscious mind, my Gemini friends that always want to see things consciously and have this plan. These are things you can't plan for. These are things that just happen out of nowhere. And you have to have the confidence and the courage to go, I know I've already researched this. I already know what could happen. I'm going to go off of what my inner self is telling me. And lucky breaks come, right? Now, on that other side where this hard work is paying off, right? You have spent the past several years, right, where what Saturn has been doing has been in your ninth house. That is your belief system. You have restructured what you believe you are, what you're capable of, what others can do for you, what's their responsibility, because that's Saturn too. It's all about responsibilities and being responsible for ourselves. And if you have really come to realize in this past year that you are shouldering the responsibilities of people, that they can be doing their own thing that they should be doing, this is a sign where Jupiter on the other side says, hey, you realize that? Awesome. Tell that person that you're setting limits with what you're going to be able to do because it's in your best interest and will bring you lucky opportunities and breaks for that energy, because now it's freed up, right? It's freeing you up to travel. It's freeing you up to do things, right? Jupiter is the planet of travel, and you may find that in this coming year too, especially around May when Jupiter does move into your sign and then it stays for the next year. You might find that you start traveling more. This could already be happening, because it is. It's the planet that wants to get us out of our comfort zones, and you're going to keep doing for others if you're staying where you're at, right? So whether that's travels of the mind, maybe that's taking more classes, maybe it's advanced schooling, maybe it's seminars, maybe it's classes. That's one side of it, but it could also be actual physical traveling, whether it's for work, whether it's for personal. But I think all of these travelers are going to take on the theme of advancing you and enriching you on a soul's level. It's not just a normal trip to Disneyland, yo. I mean, you're going to be going there and you are embracing it. You're understanding it differently. You're immersing yourself in it differently because you're now looking at it from that conscious, normal mind of Gemini, where it's like what's happening on the peripheral. You're looking at it deeper. Jupiter loves us to look at the deeper meaning of things, and this is a year where you're looking at the deeper meaning in everything, right? But back to that Saturn, I keep leaving Saturn in the dust. You, Saturn has been reshaping that for you, right? And now as it moves into that 10th house of career and life purpose, it is setting the scene for you for the next 30 years on what it is you do for your work, how you make your money, what you're worth, what you deserve, all of those things, right? And all of the hard work that you've put in. Remember, I was just saying, or maybe I was telling the other video, where, like, let's say you've been working at something and you keep getting passed up for advancement. There's someone watching out there, right? Saturn is out there watching. Saturn represents our governing powers, right? So there are higher forces that are watching all the things that you do, even though you think that they're not, right? So there could be some really super awesome CEO, vice president, somebody watching the things that you're doing, and they're like, that hard worker, that's exactly what I need. That person has the wherewithal, they got it together, they know what they're doing, and they're formulating a way to advance you. All right, that's the power of Saturn moving in. You finally get that recognition for the hard work that you have put in, right? This is very much in the career purpose thing. And let's say you don't. Maybe you haven't figured it out. That's okay, right? That's part of your soul's mission, is to find what you're here to do, what fulfills you the most. And maybe you, in that instance, is one of these Geminis that in this year, Jupiter helps you find what that is. You find it through those travels. You find it through immersing yourself in different environments. You find it through those courses or seminars or whatever it might be. And that's okay. You have luck and you have advancement on the other side. You've got both ends of the spectrum working in tandem with you in ways that it's not doing it for the other signs. Okay. This is huge. This is massive. Now, when it comes to money, because we're talking about career, right? Maybe this is a year that there is advancement. And when I look at your overall Gemini chart, now, mind you, when I say this is very loosely based on Gemini starting at the ascendant. This is going to be a little bit different for you depending on where it lands in your personal chart. If you want to go through that and see where these areas are impacting you, I have a link down below. You can reach out to me for a reading and we'll discuss your personal chart. But for all Geminis, when it comes to money, I see movement really happening in the summertime. That's when all the fast moving planets are going through there. This is a year where Venus, the planet of money, does not retrograde. And when Venus retrogrades, the planet of love and money, things kind of slow down. Things are a little bit more difficult. We're really introspecting a lot more. Now that it's going direct, things are moving quick, and they are moving quick in your finance sector. So, money making opportunities coupled with that planet of luck, Jupiter, aligned with your Gemini sun, you're going to know the opportunities when they come, and you just need to have that courage to jump on them because they can have bigger blessings than you even expect. Really, truly. Now, when it comes to love, this is another situation too. Oh, wait a second. Wait, hold on a minute. Another thing with your finance sector, and this is very huge. This is very huge. This is a 250-year cycle where Pluto, the planet of transformation, is working on your other finance sector. I was just talking about the 12th or the second house here, where it's money, self-worth. Those two go together because the more that you realize your value, the more that you attract what you deserve. This is the physical and tangible. On the other side over here is the eighth house that also deals with finances, but it's shared finances. These are things where it's debts and taxes and loans and inheritance, other people's money, your spouse's money, things like that all come over here. And so you have Pluto going into that eighth house, right? It takes 250 years for that guy to go around the sun. And so it spends 20 years in each one of these houses. Now, where it's been working on the transformations for you is love and relationships, which we're going to talk about next, is more about where energy's moving. But it's been 20 years in the making of you learning how to relate with others, what you need in relationship, how to vocalize, Gemini, right? That's all about communication, how to communicate your needs and how to be heard. I think as Pluto leaves that, you have a greater understanding. And in general, when Pluto goes through in that 20 years, it does a complete overhaul of relationship. Absolutely. And they may shift and they may change, but I tell you what, they're ultimately doing it for the better good of you and what works best for you. Now, as it leaves that, it goes into that eighth house of shared finances and debts and things. And this is an opportunity to really transform that, right? There may be ups and downs over the next 20 years when it comes to that, but that's no fault of Pluto. That happens to all of us. And these things don't happen immediately. It's not like you're going to go bankrupt the second Pluto moves into this eighth house for you here. No, not at all. It's a slow moving process, and you'll be fully aware every step of the way. But there may be some ups and downs and changes. You may find that you receive inheritance. Okay, that's part of the eighth house that may dramatically transform your finances. But it's also about transforming your views of money. And right back over here to that second house, how much you deserve based off of how much you value yourself and your skills, right? That ultimately comes over here as well too. So you have this planet of transformation working through your house of debts. If that's something you've been working hard on for the past 29 years with Saturn and you haven't seen anything coming through, you got the planet of luck, Gemini, going through that, or what did I just say? Jupiter going through that finance sector, and may free up those debts over here in this next coming year, as you would see. Now, with that, hard work in relationships too, right? You've done a lot of realization, all right, in relationships. And now there's fast moving energy that wants to come through. That is going to be happening November, towards the end of the year in 24, where we're really starting to see some movement in terms of that. Things might move fast, right? Things might start moving very quickly for you in those areas because you've already known what changes you want to implement. They get implementing and things might go even faster than you expect, right? Absolutely with that. Um, Before we get into the birthdays, I'm going to talk about the moon cycles that are going to be the best for you, right? This is a year where you can manifest a lot more than you realize that you can, right? Know that you're deserving and that you can manifest these things. You have the power to manifest these things. Where we manifest is at the new moons, and your Gemini new moon is on June 6th. right? Especially if that's your birthday. This is going to be a pivotal year for you right there, right? But this is where we plant those seeds. And where you see those seeds start to grow is at the full moon phase, at the Gemini full moon phase. That is on December 15th. You may see it before, you may see it after, but after 10 years of doing this professionally, I find time and again that what we plant at our new moon will start to sprout and come to be at that full moon 6 month cycle thereafter. Full moons are also times of release. That's when things reach an apex. So you may find that you yourself reach an apex in that time frame as well. And that's absolutely okay, right? That's absolutely fine. Know that the things, the changes that are trying to come through in that time frame, it's not to make your life miserable. It's about moving you forward, right? It's about getting you out of those comfort zones. It's about not repeating the same cycles and patterns again and again, right? So that's a very positive thing. Now let's look at birthdays in particular, right? Now, if your birthday's not in here, that doesn't mean anything at all, right? Some of these slower moving planets, like I was saying, 250-year cycle, 80-year cycle, all of these things, where these planets are, it is maybe just a couple of these alignments for certain days, right? So you may say, I only say a couple of dates, but regardless, they all have an impact for all of you. Maybe some of you have already been through it. Some of you are about to go through it. Just whatever comes to mind, take in what resonates, let go what doesn't, right? But if you have a birthday May 22nd through June 13th, Jupiter is out there aligning with your sun. Now, when you have the planet of optimism and advancement and luck infusing with your sun, that definitely lends to the fact that this is a year where you are going to be moving at a rapid rate. You are growing, you are changing, you're optimistic about the future, you're optimistic about your life. You're living life to the fullest, right? You're learning about yourself, you're learning about your limits, you're learning about your commitments, and you're ready to make the changes necessary, right? You're ready to focus on you. And when you combine that luck with that 29 years of hard work, I tell you what, amazing opportunities come through, especially at the April 20th timeframe, because we have Jupiter and Uranus, the planet of unexpected things, aligning. We have that happening for you. So lucky things may come to you in that time frame. You may be surprised what comes through. But you definitely have an ability to bring your dreams into reality this year. Now, if you have a birthday May 25th to June 11th, Saturn, that planet of hard work and lessons and restriction, is squaring up with your sun. So this may be a year where more responsibilities get put on you. That's what I look at it, because it's a planet of hard work, right? So I look at you as somebody that might be getting that advancement. So you're going to have to put in more work, right? And some things may have to suffer, but that's okay because you're learning where to put that energy, right? So yes, there may be additional responsibilities and pressures, but you're going to be able to honor those. You just need to be aware of it. Hold on, let me look at my notes. Yeah, it says, especially with Pluto going through that eighth house, right, with other people and sharing those things with others, you're seeing what you've outgrown, right? You have reached new levels of maturity thanks to Saturn and in relationship, and you're aware of what you've outgrown. So you don't have to share the burdens of others any longer, right? And I think that you landing in this time frame, Saturn, makes you realize that, especially as it leaves that house of relationships. That's all I have written. Okay. The end. Hey, I tell you what, no matter what, okay, the planets just show us potential. It's you that writes your story. And this is a year where I think that you're going to have a lot of ideas and understanding of who you are and where you want that story to go. Write it well, my Gemini friends. Have a wonderful 2024. Thank you.